Everybody knows her. You're not supposed to lose your home state. Shouldn't happen anyway, and she's losing it big.
Now on 7 News, we're 1 day away from the Republican presidential primary day in South Carolina.
Trump is so far ahead of her, she has no chance.
It's one final push for former President Trump and Nikki Haley to persuade voters.
I've always been David, taking on Goliath. And like David, I'm not just fighting someone bigger than me. I'm fighting for something bigger than myself.
What you need to know before going to the polls, it's all ahead now on 7 News.
Good morning to you. Happy Friday. It's the end of the work week, February the 23rd. Right now it's 7 o'clock. I'm Olivia Parsons. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Olivia. I'm Fred Cunningham. Thanks for joining us. 7 News is your local election headquarters. Former President Donald Trump and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley will be on opposite sides of the state today.
That's right. Christian Benavides has the latest on their campaign events ahead of tomorrow's primary.
Wow, thank you very much.
Former President Donald Trump and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley facing off this Saturday in her home state.
This is the time South Carolina can really step up.
On the campaign trail yesterday, Haley touted a new poll showing she has a better chance of defeating President Biden than Trump.
Donald Trump can't win a general election. Look at any of the polls.
But heading into this Saturday's contest, Trump has a commanding lead over Haley among likely GOP voters.
Trump is so far ahead of her, she has no chance.
If you don't carry your home state, you're going to have a tough time winning down the road.
Haley has also faced scrutiny in recent days over comments regarding an Alabama Supreme Court ruling which granted frozen embryos used in vitro fertilization the same rights as children.
We need to make sure that embryos are protected. I personally believe an embryo is a baby.
In battleground Michigan, Vice President Kamala Harris also addressed the IVF decision, blaming former President Trump.
The previous president of the United States was clear in his intention to hand-pick 3 Supreme Court justices who would overturn the protections of Roe v. Wade. That's what got us to this point today.
I took historic action to protect the unborn.
Yesterday in Tennessee, Trump did not address the IVF ruling. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Columbia, South Carolina.
Early voting ended yesterday for tomorrow's presidential primary. More people voted early for the GOP race than in the entire Democratic primary earlier this month. That race wasn't as competitive. Anderson County officials have this advice before you go to the polls Saturday.
Make sure that you're registered to vote and that you know that your voter registration is up to date. You can check that through scvotes.gov or just call our office and we can look that up for you.
The polls will be open tomorrow from 7 to 7. If you need help finding your place to vote, we have a link at WSPA.com. 7 News will have full coverage of the GOP primary on the air and online. Let's bring in 7 News meteorologist Malachi Rogers to get you ready with that Election Day forecast.
Now, it's going to be fine tomorrow. A little bit on the cool side at 7 a.m. when those polls open up with temperatures in the upper 30s, but during the day temperatures are in the upper 50s. There's a mention of a passing shower. Not too concerned about that. And by the evening, when the polls close at 7, we're back to the 40s. So mostly dry weather tomorrow if you're voting tomorrow. Good thing it's not today, because today we're dealing with rain. Still dealing with some heavy showers and downpours through parts of the upstate and western North Carolina, especially towards Moore, Reedville, and Duncan in Spartanburg County, right along Interstate 26, down towards Dorman as that heavy rain continues this morning. Temperatures are in the 40s and 50s. It's a warm start, but a cold front moving through is going to make all the difference. That front clears and dries things out. We're still dealing with rain in Spartanburg and Greenville, a little bit of fog as well. That's kind of a cool shot that you can see there. Grab the umbrellas early. By 9 o'clock, I think you'll be able to put them away. By the afternoon, we're dry with sunshine, upper 60s in the upstate, mid 50s in the mountains.
Now on 7 News at noon, former President Trump scores another big win in the race for the White House.
An even bigger win than we anticipated.
But former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley vows to stay in the race even after losing in her home state.
I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president.
Plus, racially charged comments from Trump at a black conservatives gathering in the Palmetto State, reaction from the campaign trail. And Georgia's governor talks about border security after police say a man in the country illegally killed a student on the UGA campus. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. 7 News is your local election headquarters. Donald Trump won a decisive victory in the South Carolina Republican primary. The former president was declared the winner of Saturday's primary within minutes of the polls closing. The final margin was 20 percentage points. Here's reaction from his camp.
Is South Carolina Trump country?
Nobody's going to be able to take this country but him. He's the only one that's going to be able to take this.
Trump is so powerful, and he has dominated the Republican. But I still like Nikki Haley to continue because I want to have some balance and have some kind of diversity in the party.
We just hit maximum velocity, and we're going all the way.
A look inside the numbers shows Trump swept the upstate. His totals range from 69% in Anderson County to 57% in Greenville County, 70% in Spartanburg County, and a huge 85% in Cherokee County. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley wasn't shut out. She won in the Columbia area in Richland County and had 62% support in Charleston County. In all, Trump won 43 of South Carolina's 46 counties. Despite her loss, Haley vows to stay in the race. Nicole Skanga reports she's a huge underdog heading into tomorrow's Michigan primary.
Nikki Haley campaigns in Michigan today, vowing to fight on despite another big primary loss to former President Donald Trump, this time in her home state of South Carolina. The former UN ambassador still insists she can beat Trump.
They can say Donald Trump won. I give him that. But he, as a Republican incumbent, didn't get 40% of the vote of the primary.
Haley is now on a 10-day nationwide tour with more than 20 campaign rallies and fundraisers.
An even bigger win than we anticipated, and
for his part, Trump has now swept 4 straight primaries by double digits.
I have never seen the Republican Party so unified as it is right now.
But comments the GOP frontrunner made Friday night to conservative black voters are still drawing attention on the campaign trail.
Trump claimed his dozens of criminal indictments are boosting his standing with black voters.
We've all seen the mugshot, and you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible.
The co-chair of President Biden's campaign blasted the comment as moronic and just plain racist. President Biden is also on the ballot in Michigan Tuesday, but without a major Democratic challenger, some progressives are urging voters to choose an uncommitted option, to register their complaints about the president's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
And new at noon, Donald Trump has appealed his $454 million New York civil fraud judgment. The former president's attorneys are challenging a judge's finding that Trump lied about his wealth as he grew his real estate empire.